This is a KMVT Sports presentation.
It's the West Catholic Athletic League showdown many have been waiting many months for. Tonight on KMVT, the Fighting Irish of Sacred Heart and the Lancers of St. Francis. Hello again, everyone. George Devine with you alongside of John Reed. John, we've got a great ball game ahead of us tonight. The Fighting Irish of Sacred Heart Cathedral, led by Lorian Russell, averaging 18 points a game, who's already signed a national letter of intent with the University of San Francisco.
Oh, yeah, this will be a great war tonight. It always is. Perimeter players are going to be on display tonight. Of course, St. Carey, St. Francis, 6'3", only a junior, one of the better guards in the state. Lorian Russell, Zach Rance, Albert Johnson, small guards, but great perimeter players, and you'll get a good glimpse at them tonight.
How about the matchup inside between the 6'3" Carey and Sacred Heart's 6'8" junior Caesar Smith?
Well, Carey can go inside for guard. He has great leaping ability. Of course, Caesar Smith, 6'7", 6'8", whatever you want to put him at. He's big, too. He's not just a thin rail, and that'll be another war inside, too.
The Fighting Irish defeated Bellarmine on Wednesday night at Kezar Pavilion. St. Francis was also victorious in San Francisco, defeating Reardon on Tuesday. St. Francis ranked 4th in the CCS. The Fighting Irish #1 in the current Mercury News poll. We'll have a good one coming to you on KMVT tonight from the Rascom Memorial. We're just ahead of the tip-off between the Fighting Irish of Sacred Heart and the Lancers of St. Francis here at the Rascom Memorial Gym on the St. Francis campus. Once again, George Devine, joined by John Reed. And John, we talked about in our initial opening. This is a highlighted headline matchup tonight in the WCAL as we get our first look tonight at the Fighting Irish of Sacred Heart Cathedral.
Oh, yes, I'm really anxious to look forward to watching Lorian Russell, one of the premier guards. He said he's gone on to USF. Next year he will be. Albert Johnson, listed at 5'10". Zach Rance at 6 feet. It's a tremendous backcourt for Sacred Heart. And of course, Corey Blick of St. Francis, a senior, and St. Carey, a junior, will have their hands full, but it'll be a great battle out there in the perimeter.
You know, John, I'm glad you brought up Corey Blick as we get a look at the dean of the WCAL basketball coaching corps. Tim Burke, in his 11th season, succeeded Jerry Phillips, who spent 26 years on the Irish bench. And Tim Burke likes to play a lot of zone defenses. And Corey Blick, a guy who can break a lot of zones for Steve Filios and the St. Francis Lancers. Steve, in his 5th season, likes to see Blick hit a lot of threes to force teams out into a man-to-man in a situation where the Lancers often find to their liking.
One thing, George, I'd like to bring up, and I'd like the viewers to keep this in mind as they look at this game tonight. What comes out and just grabs me is Sacred Heart with only 2 seniors on the roster, Lorian Russell and Chris Bostad, while the Lancers only have 4 seniors, Corey Blick, David Noonan, Charles Tharp, and Mike Rose. So, I mean, look at the quality of these teams right now, but next year they'll be even better.
Oh, sure, and if you looked earlier this year in the Street and Smith's annual, and the college and prep preview, of the 5 top players in the Bay Area, 3 of them are from the WCAL, 2 of them are here tonight, and Lorian Russell and St. Carey, and Charles Tharp, who's just being introduced, one of the best athletes in the Bay Area as well.
Charles Tharp, tremendous running back, led that miraculous comeback for the Lancers, CCS title, and Tharp was the reason why they won.
So the crowd is pumped, the teams are pumped. We hope that you're pumped and enjoying tonight's game from the comfort and the safety of your own home. Club's ready to tip off the Fighting Irish in their traveling greens. Ranked #1 in the Central Coast section as of this past Wednesday by the San Jose Mercury News. Piedmont Hills ranked #2, St. Ignatius and St. Francis at 3 and 4. Then Bellarmine, that was pre-suspension Bellarmine, ranked #6, the other WCAL club in the top 10. So the Fighting Irish come on the floor. Caesar Smith, the big man wearing 42, will jump center. Albert Johnson with the wristband on his right arm is the point guard. Lorian Russell, wearing #11, is the shooting guard. Joe Gamina is the power forward, and Zach Rance plays the swing man for the Fighting Irish. Lancers come out with their usual look. Will Ector, our lead official tonight, will be on the whistles with Jim Farquhar, so a veteran officiating crew. And as I was saying, the Lancers coming out with their usual look. Carey to jump center. Pat Yeager, Corey Blick, McGuire, and Charles Tharp. So a packed house awaits this one to get underway at Roscomm. Smith jumping for the Irish. Tipped one by Carey of St. Francis. And right away the Lancers go inside and a turnover. And the Irish up with it and a chance to run. Ryan Russell handling the point for SHC. Out to Smith on the high wing. Smith plays a lot away from the basket. Back-to-back turnovers, John. Perhaps these clubs a little bit edgy as we get underway.
A very small lineup presented by the Lancers. Of course, St. Hugh Carey matched up against 6'7" Cesar Smith.
Matched up right now with Zach Rance throwing side to Blick. 3 offensive possessions, 3 turnovers in this ball game.
Yeah, team's a little bit tight here, a little bit wound up. Of course, big matchup tonight.
We're just underway, 7:30 to play and no score. Russell, watched by Yeager, goes into the lane, feeds it to Gamina, and a travel is called. Now 4 possessions and 4 turnovers. Tim Burke frustrated on his sideline. Tharp running the point for the Lancers. Bounces into Carey. And a push against Cesar Smith is the foul.
I'd like to see this one again. I don't know if we will, but Smith coming over. Of course, if Carey can get Smith in trouble, let's see if we get a look at it here, George. He gets a lot of the ball here. Yeah, maybe a little bit of the body. Carey is deceptive. He can jump a lot higher than he looks.
Carey, a 74% free throw shooter on the year. Already taken 100 free throws so far this season. Gets to the line a lot.
Interesting lineup for the Lancers. No big man, but they'll have to do it with defensive pressure. They don't want to get in a slow-down half-court game against this club.
Carey makes it 2-0 for Steve Filios' troops. 7:12 to play in the opening stanza. Smith out of a passing position in the corner. Goes with Johnson. He's tough to beat even for Charles Tharp. And he can't find the roll there, but a foul against the Irish. Cesar Smith guilty of personal number 2.
That's huge right there. Tim Farquhar whistling. Smith, he doesn't like it. A push, and he's going to have to come out early. Big break for the Lancers.
58 seconds played and 2 fouls on Cesar Smith. Chris Bosted waits at the table for the Irish. Tharp spots Blick top of the key. His first try for 3. It's good. He's going to the line.
Let's look at it. Blick, they're setting a double pick for Blick. Comes out top of the key and buries it. Fouled actually almost after the shot, but it's going to go count, and he's got a possible 4-point play right here, George.
Albert Johnson guilty of a very stupid foul. The push on a man who was open on the wing, just coming over late on the defensive help. 3 team fouls against the Irish, and now 6-0 St. Francis here in the early going.
If that was a street game, that wouldn't be a foul. That would just been a 3, but this is not a street game.
Ryan Russell trying to answer. Rebound picked by Yeager, and it's been all Lancers so far. Remember, no autopsy, no foul out on the street. And that's Blick again. Timeout, Sacred Heart Cathedral, 1:30 into this contest. Lancers so far pitching a 9-0 shutout.
And Corey Blick, here it is. He's feeling it again, just a little bit to the right of where he made the last one, top of the key. Blick, he's got a brilliant three-point shot. He's been starting basically since he was a sophomore. He's playing a lot since the sophomore season. And 9-0, Steve Filios, George, could not have handwritten a better script right now for him. He's got the big men on the bench with 2 fouls and a 9-0 advantage.
Talking about these 2 ball clubs, they had one common opponent in the preseason, San Ramon Valley. San Ramon was the only club since 1994-90, make it the 1993-94 season, to beat Sacred Heart at Kezar Pavilion.
Yeah, San Ramon's an excellent program. They've always been good. Of course, Mark Madsen playing with the Stanford Cardinal right now, and they had a brilliant game last night, 109-61 over the UCLA Bruins. But back to this one, I think Sacred Heart just a little bit out of sync, a little bit hurrying their shots offensively. They got to settle down.
So Bosted on for Smith in the Irish rotation. Ryan Russell fouled in the backcourt by Sin-Q Carey.
I don't know about that either. That was very close. Russell almost initiated the contact. Tough call on Carey, but again, a trap there deep in the backcourt. Lancers coming out with a 1-2-2 press.
Lancers retreat on the press. 6:25 to play. 9-0 St. Francis. But still a long way to go against the #1 team in the CCS. Bostad top of the lane. Looks for a cutter right. Now uses his dribble. And Albert Johnson has got a great first step. Matches up with Sin-Kyu Carey. Partially blocked by Tharp. Bostad the return shot. Now Bostad again. And the Irish can't get on the board. But a foul going against Sacred Heart.
Going to be a Gamina with a push, George. Looks like Lancers might have got away with a couple fouls there, but everything's going the Lancers' way right now in the early going.
The foul on Gamina, his first. 4 team fouls on the Irish. At the 5:53 mark, steal by Zach Rance, knocked out of bounds. The Lancers breathe a sigh of relief.
Lancers have to protect the basketball. They can't turn the ball over if they're going to win this one tonight.
The Lancer Brain Trust looks on as they get another crack at the basket. Tharp matching up with the athletic Russell scores. Tharp averaging 5.2 a game. Opposite way, Albert Johnson fouled by Tharp.
That's a good.
Looking at the fouls right now, 3 of the 4 against Sacred Heart have been on the offensive glass. Both against St. Francis have been in transition. Ryan Russell calling out the action. He's headed to USF next year to play for Phil Matthews. Dump inside, stolen by Carey in front of Bostad. The Lancers with a chance to go up possibly 14-0 on this trip. Yeager looking for McGuire inside to Carey, stolen by Johnson. The Irish looking to get on the board with 5:13 to play. Johnson off balance and a foul against Blick.
Very late whistle there. The down official. I'm not sure who's the official with Farquhar. The other
It's
official.
Will Ector tonight
Yeah.
and Jim Farquhar are officials.
No, that was Eckler's call, and he didn't call it, and Farquhar had to come over and save him. Sacred Heart's gotten hacked about 2 or 3 times down the court here, the last couple times down court, and they finally got the call. It was late, but they'll take it.
So Al Johnson on the line. Albert was ranked as one of the top 25 8th graders in the country 3 years ago. But it's been pretty quiet. Didn't even make second team all WCAL last year. He's been in the shadows of Lorian Russell most of his career. To the basket, Yeager scoring for the Lancers. And it's 13-2, 5:03 to play.
Great lead pass by Sin-Kyu Carey.
Lorian Russell feeding across the lane as it's stolen by Carey. Now Russell picks Carey. Russell to the glass. And if this foul is on Carey, it's the deuce on Sin-Kyu.
Carey had it, and Russell took it away from him. Good pressure. And let's see if we can catch this right here. Bump there, not called. Lorian Russell. Look at Carey has it and loses it. Can't handle it. Got a little cute there. And Russell on the line.
There's Sin-Kyu right there with the Superman logo tattooed on his left arm.
Yeah, Lorian Russell's got a mean couple of 2s on the old shoulders there, huh, George?
Carey pulls the rebound. The Fighting Irish only points so far tonight on the line when Johnson scored. Carey the opposite way to the glass. The charge is personal foul number 3.
All right, I got him with 2. But did they give him the last one there? They gave him that one, huh? I thought that was against McGuire. If that's 3, George, that's really big. That's bigger than Cesar Smith going down.
4:45 into this game, and it's going to be a long rest for Sin-Kyu Carey. Steve Filios bringing Nick Burley onto the floor. Burley teamed up in that football backfield with Charles Tharp this year. Zach Rance hands off to Lorian Russell, eye to eye with Yeager. Now Albert Johnson first step on Tharp. Fadeaway is blocked, and the ball is kept alive for Burley. But it'll stay with the Irish as he loses it out of bounds.
Nick Burley, one of those 2-way footballers. Hard-nosed player, fullback, defensive end for the Lancers.
4:21 to play in the first period of our ball game. 13-2 is the score. Irish down on the board, but with the ball. And a foul called against Pat Yeager.
Officials trying to take control of this game a little bit, George, and it's going to be a tough one to officiate. We'll see what happens. That'll be key, how the officiating affects this ball game tonight.
With both of these clubs keeping it close to the lane, there's going to be a lot of contact. The officials really have to make the determination, advantage, disadvantage. You can't blow the whistle every time bodies collide.
Yes, that's exactly right, George.
Otherwise, it's a very tedious evening. No fun for anyone. Russell to the baseline on Tharp, swings to the top and rams. Into 3 defenders, he's called for a charge.
That's a good call right there, and a great effort by Pat Yeager to hold his ground.
5 fouls on the Irish, 1 on Rands. 11 fouls in our ball game. Almost as many fouls as there are points. Bounce to the baseline and Yeager. To Tharp for a reset. Blick all alone, top circle. His first miss of the night. Blick making 41% of his trays this year. Lorian Russell inside the line answers. First field goal of the night for the Irish. It's 13-4. Burley to the deck. Has the rebound grabbed by Gamina. Now Tharp tries to pick Johnson. Johnson into McGuire. Off balance. He can't get his touch. Gamina with the putback. Team foul number 7 on the Lancers.
Looks to be on Burley. This game's getting very helter-skelter kind of pace. And it might go to the advantage of Sacred Heart there if it does.
Sacred Heart has a little more depth on their bench. And this brings me to remember a game last year between these two clubs. As Pat Burke comes on for the Irish, the son of head coach Tim Burke. Tim Burke and several of his players last year in the WCAL semifinals, accusing St. Francis of playing overly aggressive and accusing the officiating crew of not calling enough fouls. And Steve Filios' response and the Lancer response was, basketball's a physical game. Irish ended up winning that ball game by a score of 75-67, then beat Bellarmine for the WCAL championship, their first since 1972.
Lancers have really hit a funk since Carey's gone to the bench. It's really a tough loss for the Lancers. They need Carey.
Yeager, his first try of the night, counts. Actually, his second, he has 4 points. Burke, the opposite end, tries to find a handle. Nice feed for Gamina inside, and Johnson to the rescue. A throw off of McGuire and a travel.
Boy, Burke doesn't like that. He got up in a hurry in that call. Tim Burke was all over Ekware in that one.
Tharp trying to lose Lorian Russell. Yeager, who hit the last basket, feeds McGuire. Burley can't grab it. Yeager in the lane. Finds Tharp in the corner for 3. It takes a long bounce. Burley grabs it from Russell. Now Russell knocks it to the floor. Matt McGuire asked for a timeout. Did he get it? Yes, he did.
No, I think they're going to rule him out. He was on the ball. Great hustle by McGuire over there in the far corner. He kept that whole sequence alive, then went to the floor, dived, and Farquhar ruled the ball was on the line, George. Tough break for McGuire.
Neither of these teams leaving anything on the floor with 2:30 to play here in the first. 15-5, Lancers by 10, Irish with the ball. Burke top of the key against Blick. A swing over to Gamina. He handles the ball well for a big man. Now Albert Johnson trying to find the touch, does. Johnson scores for the first time tonight from the floor. Right now, Sacred Heart on a 7-0 run. And a step on the line by McGuire.
Nice. It's twice in a row. That one was a little more his fault. Substitution for the Lancers, Steve Rawls, into the game.
I have to correct something. It was a 7-4 run.
Adam Buck, the sophomore, also in for the Lancers.
Russell feeds inside to Bostad. Nice easy look off the glass for the 6'3 Bostad. Yeager, call for the double dribble.
Sacred Heart is pecking away at that lead, George.
That's the trick. Just peck away, work one basket at a time. 15-9 our score, minute 35 to play. Burke, a good ball handler, bottled up by Rawls on the left side, goes to Johnson.
Yeager's trying to deny Russell the ball. He's really fronting him. He has it now, though.
Russell into the lane, picked up by McGuire and saved by Gamina. Now Gamina trying to force an angle on McGuire. That'll be personal foul number 1 on Matt McGuire.
That was a foul on McGuire, legitimate. Lancer's getting in foul trouble here now. That's a good call, a little too physical.
Already 8 team fouls with a minute 17 to go on the Lancers here in the first.
But Sacred Heart not taking advantage, George. They're only 3 of 7 from the line right now.
Not one of the stronger suits for the Irish traditionally has been free throw shooting. Won a lot of games by 15 or more points this year, so they really haven't had to worry about the line too much. Scored a lot of baskets in transition. McGuire all alone, can't find the touch, but is fouled on the way up.
Late whistle again, but a good call, but it was late. Lancers will take it.
Another second foul and another headliner. Albert Johnson picks up personal number 2. 16 fouls on the Irish. Zach Ransback for the Irish. Joined on the floor by Bosted, Russell, Burke, and Gamina. McGuire on the line for the Lancers. St. Francis so far 3 of 3 from the line. And McGuire, who's shooting 60% on the year, misses the first. Gamina grabs the rebounds. And it's Lorian Russell's show to run with a minute 4. Burke with the fadeaway. He's sent to the deck, end of the stage. There'll be 3 throws for number 5.
A lot of fouls, a lot of whistles today, George. It's a meat market out there.
Well, that's what you call the butcher shop, but
yeah,
they're really butchering each other tonight.
Price of meat's going down, George. That's $2.98 a pound, baby. I'll tell you, it's a physical game. You're talking about it now. I'll tell you, he'll be some complaining tonight after all this contact.
The 5'11 junior can't make the second one. Buck had it knocked out of bounds. Really tough play on the boards tonight. Both of these teams rebound very well fundamentally. A lot of pushing and shoving, a lot of boxing out. Inside of a minute to play at 55 seconds, 15-11. Lancers with the ball in the lead. They led 7-0 to open. Here's Russell to cut in a little more.
That was sweet. Steal and a breakaway jam by Lorian Russell. I got the crowd going.
A lot of Irish fans came down tonight from San Francisco.
Lorian Russell's fired up, George. Look at him, he's pumped up. The Irish are back in it. Ever since St. Hugh Carey went out, Lancers only scored 2 points.
Buck to inbound to Blick. Blick taken to the deck, no whistle. Tharp out to Rawls, 28 seconds to play in the half. Lancers by 2. Blick into the lane, feeding to the glass and Gross. And no touch for the football.
Mike Gross had a cripple, a little too strong. Give it the football to another defensive lineman, one of the top linemen in the CCS. A little physical in there.
Irish can tie or go ahead on this trip. Inside of 13 seconds to play. Down 15-13 there in the first period. Clock at 7. Russell into the lane. Throws it away. Sin-Q Carey hustling to the table. He will probably handle the inbounds for St. Francis. Also back is Yeager. So a bold move by Steve Filios with 4.4 to play in the first.
Carey's got the ball.
Carey, the opposite way. To extend the lead, loses the ball. And that'll do it for an exciting first period here at St. Francis. 15-13, Lancers on top of the Irish. We're back in a moment. Sacred Heart Cathedral with the ball on a 9-2 run since Sin-Kyu Carey picked up foul number 3. Carey back for the Lancers. Bosted with the ball for the Irish. Smith inside, watches Johnson nail a 3. And the Irish have their first lead of the night at 16-15. Tharp handles the opposite way for the Lancers. Jaeger a swing to Bleck. They're not going to let him get open up top. Feed inside for Carey to the glass, and a block.
That was going to be a flop. It should have been maybe a non-call, but that was not an offensive because it was a flop. But good job by Smith to go to the hardwood, Carey with the 3 fouls. Big gamble by Filius right now.
3 personal fouls on Caesar Smith. It was either going to be Smith's 3rd or Carey's 4th.
That was a critical swing right there. That could have gone either way.
Tim Burke letting the officials know. Tim Burke down there letting the officials know what he feels about the call. Carey averaging 23 points tonight, 10 games this year with 20 or more points, including 29 the other night in the win up at Reardon. 63-50 number at the Crusader Forum. That's why the Lancers want him in the lineup. Lancers have the lead back at 17-16. Bosted top, swings over to Russell left. 17-footer off the front. Tharp averaging 5 rebounds a night, grabs the runner. Now feeds over to Bleck. Nice baseline move for Corey. Too high off the glass. McGuire the rebound, stripped by Gamina. Now Tharp with the steal to Carey to the rack. No, and Bosted a big board. Aggressive rebounding so far the character of this ball game. 6:45 to play in the first half. Lancers by 1. Irish looking to go ahead. Sacred Heart sets a new offense as they take their time. Remember, no shot clock in the boys' game. St. Francis staying in a man defense. Zach Rance handling against Bleck for Johnson top. Johnson can burn you with a head fake, but he's burned by Bleck. Faked himself out right there. And the Lancers a chance to extend their 1-point margin. Throw inside from McGuire, knocked away. Now Bleck with the steal from behind. Defense, defense, defense. Jaeger for some offense. Carey on the boards. Not even the preseason All-American can score cleanly in this one.
It's good defensive pressure by the Lancers. This is the last offensive sequence. Jaeger spotting out, but look at Carey. He's really got to be careful. And a good call, get a late whistle, but down to the other defensive end, the Lancers are really putting on the pressure defensively. If I was Sacred Heart, I would just spread the floor, George, and keep the middle open and let somebody drive the lane.
Sin-Kyu Carey's hit 5 straight free throws tonight.
No field goals for Carey.
So it's been that kind of an evening, a real blue-collar effort for Carey. St. Francis throwing the press back.
Lancers just pulling everybody back. Nobody on the offensive glass.
Confidence in Carey is going to make the second, then he misses it.
Yeah.
Lancers by 2. 5:40 to play here in the first half.
Nice.
George Devine and John Reed with you.
Lancers in a 2-3 zone.
Johnson to the baseline. Count it. 9 points for AJ. Charles Tharp to Bleck. He had 2 trays earlier from the top of the circle. Now Carey from the left side. And Johnson grabs the running board, trying to break an 18-all tie, firing from inside the line. And the deadlock is broken.
That's a long 2. His foot was on the line. Good call there.
Nobody takes an open 17-footer anymore. Nobody likes to. It's nice to see someone who can knock it home. Carey to the glass. The tip. And Gamina the rebound. Gamina, a monster on the boards tonight. Russell the opposite way. And a block against Jaeger.
They missed that one. And Filius is fit to be tied on the Lancer bench. And that one was missed by Eckert. Russell knew it too. He forced the shot. You can't bail him out on that, George. He goes 1-on-2 and with a leaner, and you're going to call a block. Real bailout there for Russell.
So far, a quiet night for Russell, has 4 points.
11 points for Albert Johnson. He's got the game high.
Russell coming off 18 against Bellarmine the other night. Though Bellarmine not with all of its regular personnel after several players were suspended for some indiscretions on a road trip. Bellarmine was expected to compete with the Irish and the Lancers and the St. Ignatius Wildcats for the WCAL title. Now they have 6 JV players up. Gamina, the monster on the board, sits down. And a timeout is taken on the floor. Carey on the baseball pass, scores.
McGuire, our baseball player's got a good arm. Sacred Heart got a little look-see of that arm by McGuire.
Sacred Heart on a 22-9 run in almost the last 8 3/4 minutes. Remember, St. Francis started out with a 13-2 lead in this ball game.
Lancers with a 1-2-2 zone. They got Carey out top. Try to protect him a little bit.
The Irish are going to use the old Pete Newell stall.
That's fine, but I'd go at it. Try to just go at Carey. Try to get a 4th one.
Remember, the team that's down on the scoreboard has to force the action. That's the Lancers. Bostad. And Carey grabs the rebound for St. Francis.
If you're tied or behind, you have to come out there, and Lancers did come out.
3:53 to play here until intermission. 22-20. Sacred Heart the lead. St. Francis with the ball. Blick has the trifecta. 10 points for Blick, averaging 14-6 on the year.
3 threes and a free throw for Corey Blick.
Lancers by 1. Now they can lay back since they're up on the scoreboard. Saw one of these last year. It was a 5-minute stall. Bostad knocked away by Carey, and Tharp comes forecourt.
That was a great play by Carey. Just casually knocked out for the
Head fake on Bostad to the basket, count it. Sincu with 7 points since his 3rd foul.
Yeah, he's come back here. The gamble's paying off for Philios. Big time right now.
9 points in the game. Russell trying to answer opposite way. And the rebound is secured by Blick. 2:50 to play, 25-22 Lancers. Yeager trying a tray. Count it.
Go ahead,
22, St. Francis, 2:34 to play.
Sacred Heart cannot solve this 1-2-2 zone. Now they're behind. They're going to have to attack this zone, and I don't know if they can do it.
Rance. Tharp keeps it alive and leads the Lancer break against Johnson. Nice recovery by Carey and a nice recovery by Tharp. And a block called against the Irish. It's free throws for St. Francis. Tim Burke takes a timeout. His team falling behind after the Lancers have put up a 6-0 run.
Yeah, this is a good timeout for Tim Burke, because you see on the offensive end, they're not doing a thing offensively against that 1-2-2 zone. They're going to have to get together and get everybody on the same page and make sure they know how they're going to attack that zone by the Lancers.
Talking about the same page, WCAL with 3 games tonight. The other 2 games going on involving Bellarmine and Reardon. An interesting matchup there over in San Jose. Bellarmine, as I mentioned, with all the players suspended. Reardon, a club with really only one superstar in Reggie Cooks, trying to climb back into the league's upper echelon. Then the other matchup between 2 teams projected as bottom feeders, Mitty and Sarah. Mitty led by Jason Byer, but Mike Willard with only 9 players on his bench.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that Bellarmine suspension a little bit, George. You know as much as anybody what goes on in this league. Obviously, what was a road trip and some things happened, and nobody knows exactly what happened, but that's a pretty big step down there at Bellarmine, because that's a big basketball school.
That's right. You know, you think about Bellarmine basketball the last few years under Pat Schneider, and if he has got to suspend 6 players, it'll be like the Atlanta Braves having to suspend 6 players. He's got a good farm system.
They'll be competitive, but it's definitely not the same team, of course.
And it opens up a lot of doors for a lot of other people in the league. Charles Tharp on the line for the Lancers, misses the front ends. Alejandro Thomas of SI also serving a suspension of 4 games. Johnson to the rack, picked by Carey. One of over a dozen seniors at SI suspended in a cheating scandal. Johnson with the ball for the Irish, minute 51 to play. 28-22 is our score. If you're just joining us, it's been a physical battle all night between Sacred Heart Cathedral and St. Francis. This one's lived up to its billing. Couple of heavyweights slugging it out. Tharp the other way. A nice float to the basket. Carey grabs the rebound out to the corner. And now Sinque from his heels for 3. And the rebound is grabbed by Johnson with a minute 22 to play. Johnson's got a great first step, but he hasn't used it much tonight. Pat Dunn is denied.
McGuire with a rejection.
Now Pat Yeager with a minute handles over to Blick. Lancers haven't been very crisp on their pass receptions tonight. Do you look for last shot here, John, at this situation?
Now, if they got a good shot, they'll take it.
How about that one?
That works. Yeah, they did want a layup, though, George. It was a layups or nothing situation. That's for sure, and they got the back door to Blick. There it is, nice back door. That's what happens when you pressure away from the ball. You're susceptible to the back door, and but now the Lancers in the zone, but when they were in the man-to-man, tight man-to-man down there, that's what I thought Sacred Heart should have done. Should have spread it out, forget the post game, just spread it out wide and go back door.
10th team foul on the Irish, coming with 46 seconds to play here in the first half of our ball game. Steve Filio is somebody, when he prepares his teams, always starts with the defense. And his philosophy is, if my defense can play well, it will feed the offense.
Yeah, they did a good job. They do a good job of blocking out, limiting the other team to one shot only, and that's what's been going on.
Blick can make it an 8-point ball game if he makes the second free throw, an 83% free thrower on the year. He's now 27 of 32 on the season. Now do the Irish go last shot trailing by 8? Looks like they might. Remember, they have to initiate the action because they're down.
They do, as long as Lancers come across there and force them. But Lancers can sit back all day long, and it's no big deal.
Burley is on for Carey in the Lancer lineup. So Sinque will stay on the bench into intermission with 3 fouls. But played miraculously with those 3. Clock at 10. Russell between the legs, eye to eye with David Noonan. And Johnson for 3. Burke the putback. Gamina the tip. Volleyball for Gamina. Forget about it. The Lancers hang on to an 8-point halftime lead into the dressing room. We'll be back with more on KMBT in just a moment. Once again, welcome back to the Rascon Memorial. We're at halftime. St. Francis leading Sacred Heart Cathedral. We have a special feature tonight at halftime. Joining us, Merv Harris of the San Francisco Examiner and West Catholic Athletic League Commissioner Ed Ravenscroft. And a very interesting prospect, Ed, in the WCAL this year. De La Salle has asked to come in the league in football.
Well, actually, they started, I got a phone call about 3 to 4 weeks ago from the principal of De La Salle requesting to see if we had any interest to bring De La Salle in. I got another call this week from the athletic director from De La Salle requesting that possibly they would consider coming in for all sports. It's very, very premature, obviously. I mean, we haven't even discussed it at any level in the WCL as yet. We have a principals meeting and an ADs meeting this month, at which time we'll discuss the situation. But also keep in mind that the CCS, the Central Coast section, must also approve any such transfer.
Merv, you're very familiar with the situation De La
In the
Salle
North
is
Coast section, which De La Salle is a member, so you would have to have both sections approving. Although I think if the WCAL were to be interested and say we want them, I think that would have a lot of influence on both sections. I think the interesting part of it is that so far De La Salle has said they want to play in the WCAL, but play in the North Coast section football playoffs. I don't see how that could work.
And let me ask you this, the WCAL used to have 7 football members. Sacred Heart Cathedral dropped out of the league in football in 1989. Is there any prospect of the league saying to Sacred Heart Cathedral, come back in football, we want to get De La Salle in, and if you don't come back, we'll let De La Salle in, and you got to go in everything?
No, that would not be a prerequisite to have De La Salle in or not, as far as I know. And there's no forcing of Sacred Heart to force them to play football. There's discussion about that subject that's going to be talked about on a number, as well as a number of other items. But there's no such either-or type of situation.
Merv, you have a chance to see all the teams around the Bay Area in a variety of prep sports. What would De La Salle coming into this league, what kind of an impact would that have?
Well, competitively, obviously for football, with their 10,000 stadium, with 10,000 seats at Bellarmine, with 8,000 seats here at St. Francis, that would certainly be financially a desirable situation. Competitively, Bellarmine and St. Francis have both played De La Salle. St. Francis has beaten De La Salle once, so I think that would be, for just purely football reasons, very exciting and a desirable thing for the fans, purely on a football basis.
Ed, let me ask you one last question. Has the league developed an official position yet on this De La Salle initiative to join the league?
Not at all. As I said, very premature. There's been no formal discussion with the athletic directors or the principals as a body at all. Very, very premature at this point.
Now, constitutionally, the Principals Council has to, I guess, offer an invitation, or can De La Salle just apply, and if they get a 4-3 vote, they can come in?
It has to be a 2/3 vote. So 5 out of the 7 schools would have to approve any such transfer.
We'd like to thank Ed Ravenscroft and Mert Harris for joining us at halftime. More between the Lancers and the Irish when we're back on KMVT. 30-22, Lancers with the lead and the basketball to start the second half. George Devine alongside of John Reed. They're at the Roscoe Memorial, second WCAL game of the year for each of these clubs, as St. Francis hosts Sacred Heart Cathedral, trying to break a 2-game losing streak on their home floor to the Irish. Backdoor cut for Blick. And the Lancers have a 10-point lead again. Blick with 12 points.
Blick at 14. That gave him 14 at 12 at halftime. 3 threes for Blick, and that was a nice set play by the Lancers.
Feed inside for Caesar Smith. He has 3 fouls and his first 2 points of the night on that look. He's coming off 15 and 14-point nights. Bounce inside for Matt McGuire. Lancers back by 10 again, 34-24. Lorian Russell trying to cut it to 8, does.
Obviously, they told him, hey, go ahead and penetrate that zone, especially penetrate on Carey. He can't foul you.
Swing over to Blick in the corner for his 4th tray.
I have Blick with 4 threes, a deuce, and 3 free throws, George, and he's been a huge factor. 4 out of 5 from three-point land, I think.
Blick on the year, a 41% free throw shooter. Smith inside has the easy look.
Well, finally we get to see Smith becoming a factor. He didn't do anything in the first half because of foul trouble.
Carey all alone, can't hit it, and Russell grabs the rebound for the Irish. Tough time handling for the USF-bound star. Nice look to Smith. And Carey aboard over Gamina. Gamina's been a monster tonight. His brother John Gamina was all-league 3 years in a row for the Irish in the early 90s. Now Blick off of a screen, and he's picked by Johnson. Tharp can't get on it. And the opposite way, Johnson feeds over to Gamina for an easy 2.
Sacred Heart fighting on the defensive end, created a hoop there. They look a little more relaxed.
37-30 is our score. 5:57 to play. Bouncing to Carey. Drawing a double team right now in the zone. First shot no good. Second is on the money. 11 points for Sinkyu. That was knocked out of bounds by Jaeger. Well, the Irish will get it from the left side with 5:44 to play, trailing by 9. Johnson yet to use that first step. Back to Russell. And McGuire keeps it alive for the Lancers, but couldn't keep it in bounds.
Good action so far in the early going. Carey going inside for the Lancers.
Lancers trying to bottle up Caesar Smith. Johnson draws a double team. Not much room to work over on those sidelines.
This game's getting a little bit out of control. These officials are going to start taking, not necessarily whistling everything, George, but definitely put the clamps on any craziness here.
A crowded bus here tonight at St. Francis. Russell can't hit the 15-footer. And the Lancers with the ball looking to extend a 9-point lead. Lancers will keep it as it was last touched by Caesar Smith. Steve Filios has matched up many times with Tim Burke. A couple of good tacticians working against each other tonight. Their clubs leaving nothing on the floor. Blick over to Jaeger. Now a bounce for Carey. Looking baseline for Jaeger. Needs help. Jaeger inside for McGuire. He has it. Matt McGuire with 4 here in the second half. Lancers up by 11, 41-30. 4:50 to play here in the third. Feed inside to Smith, knocked away by Carey.
Back there on the other end, Sacred Heart lost McGuire defensively, and a good look by Jaeger. 11-point spread now for the Lancers.
McGuire and Carey get a rest as Rawls and Burley come onto the floor. John, how about the change in the Lancer defense, fronting Caesar Smith rather than playing behind him after he got a couple of easy baskets? Carey stays on, and Jaeger will be the one who sits down. Confusion in the Lancer in and out pattern. Now the Ryan Russell has it knocked away by Carey on the pass. You don't see too many prep ball players play the passing lanes. You don't see many basketball players play them as well as Sinkyu Carey. You don't see him score as well as Sinkyu Carey like he just did right there.
Carey is really warming up right now.
Johnson for 3, no good. Rebound for Tharp. Back to Carey, to Blick, to the basket. A block by Russell. It's off to the races for the Irish. Here's Johnson to the hole. Count it. 13 for Johnson to match Carey's individual total. 3:56 to play here in the third. 43-32. Lancers with the ball and a lead of 11 points. Rawls working a pass out of the left baseline. Needs someone to come over, and a smart play. Threw it off of Smith's right thigh. Into Carey, drawing a double team to the glass, is fouled by Zach Rance. That's our first foul of the second half, John. 3:36 to play. Where did the officials go?
They've toned down the whistles here almost a little bit too much. After the beginning, of course, it was too many whistles. Now they're not calling anything. They finally call something. So they got to get a little bit more consistency. It's a tough game to officiate, though, on their behalf. I don't think I'd want to officiate this one either.
Sacred Heart Cathedral has just burned timeout number 3, so they only have 1 left for the final 11:36 of regulation. So Tim Burke's club will be operating with the needle on E for the timeout count. Look at Courtney Keegan, member of the Lady Lancer basketball
right
team
there?
in the overalls.
Wow, that's a good-looking girls team they have. They have a fine, outstanding, highly skilled level team. Tremendous record. I think they're about 13-1 right now overall. And She's an outstanding guard.
Right now, St. Francis ranked 15th in the state at 12-1. Their only loss of the year to Mitty. Bubba Filios also looking on as well. Tied with Monte Vista for the lead in the CCS poll. Those two clubs meet here on Thursday, a game we have on KMVT.
Yeah, they beat Gunn by 49 points. They're 13-1 right now overall, and they had a bye originally to start the league. They're 1-0.
Eric Scharenberg coached football at Menlo College this past year. Played a little point guard for Bill Delaney in his playing days here at St. Francis. Sin-Q Carey on the line. First of 2 free throws is good. Looking for his 15th point of the night. And the rebound belongs to Zach Rance. They didn't beat Gunn, John. They incinerated Gunn.
Yeah.
And Albert Johnson with the easy 2. A quiet 15 for AJ. 3:18 to play. Tharp the opposite way, trying to extend a 10-point lead. Carey, free throw line, counted. Lancers extend their lead to a dozen. Johnson looks shot, but then goes past to Russell. Russell off the side, and Carey with a big rebound. Carey leading the club with 7.5 rebounds a night. Opposite way, Tharp stripped by Russell. He goes one-on-one to the hole with Charles and scores. .240 to play, Lancers by 10. Rawls handling it for St. Francis. And he has it knocked away by Gamina. A chance for the Irish. Caesar Smith on the pass from Johnson, and a good foul by Blick.
I don't know. I wouldn't have fouled him there. He's going up from about 6 feet off balance. I would let him shoot that one. Maybe he thought he was going to dribble by him, but
Caesar Smith doesn't have much touch at the line. Shooting less than 50% this year, so if you got to put anybody on the line, put the big guy on there.
yeah, I didn't know. I thought he was just going to go up with it from there, though. That would have been a tough shot to make. That was the point I was making, but yeah, let him go ahead and let him make it on the line if you want to.
That's one of the 50% that he makes. The gamble doesn't pay off for the Lancers. Blick picks up personal foul number 2. Now Charles Tharp out of the lineup. Blick handles the point with 2:22 to play here in the third period. Lancers leading by 8. Swing inside for Burley. Nothing going. Smith a big rebound. Big chance for the Irish. Stops, pumps, and carried the rebound off the Ryan Russell miss. Ryan Russell spent his first 2 prep years at Washington High in the city and took the 38 Geary a few more stops eastbound to Sacred Heart Cathedral. Carey works the baseline on Johnson. Burley trying to grab the rebound in traffic. Can't find it in the trees. Russell does. Johnson got away with a travel, picked up by Blick. Now Bosted feeds over to Rance, to Smith, to the glass. Count it.
That was a nice assist there by the Irish. Smith a factor. 8 points in the third quarter for Cesar Smith.
All of his scoring in the game done here in the third period. Irish on a 4-0 run after trailing by 10. 46-40, St. Francis. Blick, an open 3. Can't find the touch. Bosted out of bounds. Another chance for the Lancers with 1:08 to play. Pat Burke back for the Irish to give Rance a rest. John, one of the things WCAL coaches are really good at is they will use a break and play with about a minute left to go in a period as Carey shoots. Carey now with 18 points to give some of their players a rest about a minute before the break and then the full minute of the quarter timeout. Inside of a minute to play, 48-40. Ryan Russell just swatting the ball like flies on a hot summer day.
Well, Tim Burke says hold it for 1, and I don't think Russell wanted to do that. Now he's a little frustrated. Carey's going to go back because they switched there, good defensive switch, because they figure Russell's going to penetrate on top of the key, and they don't want Carey out there defensively, maybe picking up his 4th foul.
Yeager plays the point of the zone. 28 seconds to go here in the 3rd. Caesar Smith all the way out in the right corner to the top of your screen.
A lot of cat and mouse going on.
The drum bangs slowly. 13 seconds to play. Irish in motion. Russell bounces it to Johnson. The jumper, the rebound, knocked out of bounds by Burke. Lancer ball with 5.5 to play. Matt McGuire on the inbounds. Stolen by Bosted, thrown off of Tharp, and the Lancers have to hustle. Yeager from half court can't connect, but the Lancers settle for a 48-40 lead after 3 periods. A lot of work left for Tim Burke and company when we return. Sacred Heart Cathedral down on the scoreboard with the basketball as we begin. They played even ball in the 3rd period. Burke out on the left wing, stays on for the Irish, is stripped by Carey. And he gives ahead to Tharp. All alone Yeager for 3. Carey tries to grab the board, but Russell had the position. And Russell forecourt, picked up by Yeager, left of the lane. And now Russell spins to his feet, and a foul called against the Lancers.
That call was a half hour late, and I don't blame Phillies for being mad. Eckworth's got the late whistle department tonight, and I think Russell got bailed out once more.
So it'll be free throws for the Ryan Russell. He's 2 of 2 on the night and a 67% free throw shooter on the year.
They're going to give Russell didn't even know that he was shooting. That's how bad it was. That was inexcusable, that call.
Russell trying to add to his total of 10 points. Only had 11 in the loss to San Ramon Valley. The Irish falling 56-53 to John Rayner's troops in their final preseason tune-up. The Lancers beat San Ramon 64-62 to win the Lancer Classic here on KMVT. Tharp to the glass. Yes!
Well, they just missed the backcourt big time. That was the biggest backcourt miss I've seen in my career. You got to call that.
Playing career or broadcasting career?
Anything career, since 2nd grade. That was brutal, missing that backcourt.
Burke on the left wing. It hit nothing but air.
Well, Lance has got a deuce out of that, too. They got a layup out of that, George. That was critical. This game comes down to 2 points. We'll remember that play.
6:59 to play in this ball game. Lancers by 8, 50-42. Tharp bounces into Carey, stripped by Russell. Last touch by the Irish.
That was a good call.
I think Lorian Russell has a secret.
Well, Tharp dove for it, but he didn't touch it. Irish bench got fooled on that.
McGuire on the left wing, watched by Bosted. Lancers can afford to burn some clock right here, John. Tharp picked by Burke. And a big steal, the coach's son trying to redeem himself after airballing that 3 on the last trip. Another chance from long range for Pat. Shot no good, fight for the rebound, and a jump ball is called. Corey Blick at 6'2", muscling up against the 6'7" Caesar Smith. Irish employing a full court press. Corey Blink, the 2-man, will bring it up as Tharp leads out to the right side. Remember, Tharp is the regular point guard. Carey to the baseline. And a foul on the way to the hoop. Fouls not a factor so far here in the second half. 2 each way. Burke out for the Irish. Rance is back. Rance also a football standout for Sacred Heart. The Irish were 9-0-1 this year, playing an independent schedule. Flick into Carey. Carey was out of bounds a second ago. And a mistake by the Lancers.
The ball will be inbounded down here, and the Lance is in. Sacred Heart, big break.
Huge break.
Now Irish will inbound underneath their own hoop. Carey didn't know that the player was cutting.
Smith tied up, throws it inside. Russell got away with an up and down. Now Tharp with the pick, a race for the ball. And Rance there for the relief. Johnson waiting for everyone else to arrive. Bird dogged by Tharp, and Yeager loses the ball.
Well, the defensive intensity is picked up. Both teams are trying to attack the ball way out top, and it's going to be a little hot and heavy these last 5:40.
Foul called against Gamina on the play. Now Yeager into the lane. Carey, the rebound, a chance for the putback. Caesar Smith grabs it in front of Buck. Johnson to Russell, into the lane, swatted from behind.
Blick got a lot of the ball there, but got a lot of the body too, apparently.
For his third foul. Making his fourth according to the official scorer here.
Blick might come out.
Russell connects on the front end. 5 of 5 so far tonight.
13 points for Russell. Johnson's been quiet this quarter, yet to score.
Johnson had a big first half with 11 points. Only 4 since intermission. 50-44, 5:13 to play in the ball game. And Carey handling the point with Blick on the bench with 4 fouls. Big loss for the Lancers. Feed inside for Carey from Tharp. And Smith grabs a big board for Sacred Heart. A bounce ahead for Gamina. Off balance. And the rebound is pulled by Russell. Out in front, he scores. 16 for Lorian Russell, 4-point ball game. The Lancers had a second half lead of 10. Tharp, and a timeout called by the Lancers. 4:31 to play, 50-46. Steve Filios' troops hanging on to this one. Lancers out of a timeout, go to Carey, and he scores. Lancers up their lead, back up to 6 points. Russell, the other end, trying to answer. Fight for the rebound. Russell out of bounds. The Lancers get it back. Fighting Irish on a 10-6 run in the last 3.5 minutes plus. Clark forecourt for Burley, and a foul against Russell. And the first personal foul on Lorian Russell. Yeah, we talked about Caesar Smith's free throw difficulties a little while ago, John. Nick Burley having some difficulties himself this season, but he won't shoot here. It was a non-shooting foul according to Will Ector. Feed to McGuire. He will shoot free throws as he's fouled by Gamina.
And now I think Filius is arguing with Farquhar. I think Farquhar is calling it before the shot. Filius is totally upset over there on the St. Francis bench. He wants a shooting foul.
4 personals on Gamina. Possession arrow favoring the Irish, scoreboard favoring the Lancers by 6. A throw in to Tharp. Past Russell. The jump pass unsuccessful. Johnson all alone for the layup. He has 17. Irish again within 4 with 4 minutes to play. Burley works the free throw line. Wonder when Blick's going to come back. On the bench with 4 fouls. Jaeger over to McGuire. Now Burley out on a wing. Tharp over to Carey, matching up with Albert Johnson. Look inside for Jaeger, a head fake and a pass out to Sinkyu on a wing. 3:30 to play. Carey to the rack. Count it. .22 points for Carey. And now Corey Blick returns with 3:24 to play for Burley.
And Carey's played a long time with 3 fouls, hasn't he?
Russell into the zone. To the glass and a block against Jaeger.
Russell's quick. You saw a little glimpse of his quickness there. You can't let him penetrate. Watch him just go right through 2 players. That's terrible defense by Carey. Now it's 3:17 left. Carey's got to get down and not let him penetrate there. If he picks up a 4th foul, big deal now.
Yeah, those 3 fouls are imposing early in the first quarter. Late in the second half, you're right, John, no big deal.
Yeah, you can't bullfight her there. I mean, it wasn't just him. It was the other player over there. I think it was Blick, whoever was in there.
For a 1-possession game, Russell can't get the roll, so it stays a 4-point affair at 54-50. Blick blocked by Smith. Caesar grabs the rebound. Russell forecourt against Carey to the goal. Count it. The Irish fans loving it down here in Mountain View.
This is quite a play here. Now Blick calls a travel. There's no travel there. It's a legitimate. There may not have been a foul, but it definitely was a good layup. And here comes Steve Filius, and he wants a piece of Eckler. And he's going to talk to Charles Top right at midcourt. This game's getting a little bit hot and heavy.
Plenty of heat when we come back. 3:02 to play. 2-point ball game, and could be one with the Russell free throw. Steve Filios hoping the well isn't dry yet for the Lancers. 3:02 to play. His club holding on by 2 points, but Lorian Russell can make this a 1-point affair if he hits this free throw. Russell missed his last on a 3-point play attempt. Otherwise, he's 4 of 4 tonight. And it's a 1-point game.
11 points in the 4th quarter for Lorian Russell. 21 on the game.
13-6 Irish run here in the 4th period so far. McGuire into Carey. Jaeger, top circle. Count it! The Irish throw it away. It's a madhouse at St. Francis.
That was a big 3 by Jaeger. That's one of the biggest of his career.
Now Blick, who's had plenty of big 3s, handles the point. 2:27 to play. 4-point lead for the Lancers over the Irish. Inside to McGuire. He's fouled.
That's what you're going to get, George, the back door. They try to deny the pass. He got the back door. Good look inside. Here it is. That's Jaeger to McGuire. Almost goes.
Caesar Smith, the imposing player that he is at 6'7", with the foul on the 6'4" McGuire. McGuire with a critical miss. McGuire 60% on the year, missed 2 free throws earlier. Big miss for the Lancers. 2:16 to play. Irish need 2 baskets, down by 4. Russell matches up with Carey. Swing over to Johnson. Inside of the line he is. And the rebound is grabbed by Carey. Whoever wins tonight is 2-0 in the WCAL. Jaeger to the baseline. Gamina, a big board. He's had many tonight. And Albert Johnson's club, 1:39 to play. Trying to make it a one-point game. And a travel is called against Johnson after he was picked by Blick.
I just slipped out of Johnson's hands. Good defense by Blick and good call. A little bit late backward, but he got the call.
Tharp in the forecourt. Lancers trying to burn some clock inside of 1:30 to play, leading 57-53.
Lancers should work for a layup, George.
How about that backdoor number they had before? Carey for three. McGuire the rebound, the putback. And Russell the board. Big chance for the Irish coming up. 1:06 to play. Russell into the lane, the bump, and the fall counts.
That could have been offensive. That was close. I would have called that.
1 2-point game again, 57-55, inside of a minute to play at 44 seconds. A bounce to Carey, the back door and the foul against Gamina.
Carey's hurt. That was a big time foul. I don't know where he got him. And let's hope it's not serious, but it does not look good at all. My goodness. Here's the replay, George. Again, good look to Carey. Carey gets a back door. Great bounce pass, and he got him somewhere. I don't know exactly where. There's a good shot. Got him in the upper part of the chest, maybe. And he's in pain, as you can see. Great overhead camera work there. Our camera right on it. Look at the St. Francis bench. 40.8 seconds on the clock. 57-55 is the score. Lancers by 2.
You couldn't write it better than this. Right now, Sin-Q Carey being attended to by Will Straw and Julie Scharenberg. Will Straw also the team physician for the Giants, wearing the brown sport coat. Julie Scharenberg also attending to him. Looks like he just got the wind knocked out of him, John.
He might have had the wind knocked out. Boy, he really was groaning in a different manner, like he got something hurt in his upper body, and they're checking it in the head area. And let's see where we can find out where he hits him. Up top. Maybe he hit him down below in a bad area.
Yeah.
That might have been what happened. He didn't look like he got him that high. He might have got him right in the sensitive area of the body, and he might have got the wind knocked out of him, but he might have had that other problem. And we hope he gets back, because he's put on a brilliant show tonight.
But Carey under his own power, trying to break the grimace with a smile.
And I don't know, an injured player now, can he stay on the floor? In football, he'd have to come out, but it looked like he could stay on the floor in basketball.
As long as he's not bleeding.
He's on the line for 2 anyway, we know that. And of course, the Lancers want him on the line. I have him 6 for 8 from the line tonight.
74% on the year. The other night, hit 5 of 6 over at Reardon. As I said a moment ago, whoever is victorious tonight, 2-0 in the WCAL. The Irish, Tim Burke, trying to avoid losing their second in their last 3.
Lancers 9 for 16 from the free throw line tonight. But this is the man you want on it right now.
Carey trying to make this a 5-point game with 40.8 to play. He does. 26 points for Sin-Q Carey. LaRyan Russell stripped by Tharp. Bosted to the rescue. Johnson blocked by Carey, and a race for the ball won by Tharp. Fouled by Russell. And now Sin-Q Carey showing no pain as the Lancers try to wrap this one up.
Carey with a block. Is there any contact here? Let's take a look, George. Any body there? It's pretty clean. Big swing right in front of the Sacred Heart bench, and Tharp will be on the line now.
Tharp, a 65% free throw shooter on the year for Steve Filios. 0 of 2 so far tonight. Tim Burke has one timeout to burn if he wants to. He might save it for when his team is on offense. This is a 1-and-1 for Tharp. Rebound by McGuire. Tharp to the deck. A scrum on the floor. The arrow to the Irish.
Got a great effort by Matt McGuire there, going to the hoop, catching the Irish napping there, and a great hustle game tonight for Matt McGuire.
25.8 seconds. Irish down 59-55. They need 2 baskets.
Just another run-of-the-mill thriller here in the WCAL.
That's right, just another night at the office.
Lancers with a full court extended man pressure, trying to not let Russell get the ball.
Johnson to Russell. He's the main man into the lane. That's the first of the 2 they need. And a quick timeout by the Irish with 17 seconds to play. And John Reed, let's talk a little strategy if you're St. Francis.
Well,
obviously, the Irish are going to come out and foul. Right now, the Irish at the limit with 7, so it's free throws for St. Francis.
Yeah, they'll definitely take a quick foul, that's for sure. Lancers will try to get the ball in Blixer, Sekou Carey's hands, but Russell, what a fourth quarter for him. 10, 14, 15 points. There's your look at the scoreboard. Getting pretty close, a little different than the 68-51 game we had, preliminary game, won by Sacred Heart over the Lancers. This we knew was going to be close, and it is.
Just to reset a couple of things for you, Sacred Heart is out of timeouts. St. Francis still has 2 left. The arrow right now points the way of St. Francis. And the team foul situation, the Irish with 7, so St. Francis in the single bonus. St. Francis with 2 fouls to give, should they need to.
It's been a great second half. A lot more flow in the game, a lot more defensive pressure, and has caused some interesting plays. Now you can look back at that back court that was not called. The Lancers got a deuce, and that's what's the difference is right now.
I think you can point to a lot of moments in this game as being differential. Carey will handle the rock across half court, and he's fouled by Johnson before he breaks the time strike. Remember, Tim Burke is out of timeouts, so if he wants to ice Carey, he's going to have to find a way besides asking for a break. The Irish have it, a chance for the win with 13 seconds. Down by 2. Russell, top of the key. And a foul by Jaeger on the floor, no basket.
Oh, there's no basket there. I don't know what the Irish bench, that was before the shot. Burke wants it, but that was definitely before the shot. It might have been a late whistle. Let's watch it again. Ryan Russell, what a performance here in the fourth quarter. He's grabbing him for a long time, and he makes his shot. That foul was just a long foul. He started early and kept it up. He wanted the grab. He said the Lancers had a foul to give, and that's what you were talking about.
That's right, a foul to give out of bounds. 6.4 seconds left for the Irish to win, tie, or lose. And a timeout by Steve Filios. A lot of excitement tonight here at the Roscom Memorial. Standing room only at the Roscom Memorial, and they've gotten their money's worth tonight. 59-57, 6.4 seconds left. Sacred Heart Cathedral will have the ball to the left of the goal, and John Reed, what does St. Francis do on defense?
I don't know, but that's a good question. I mean, what will, more important, what's Sacred Heart? If they're going to go for the win with a 3, are they just going to try to go inside? They got Caesar Smith. He can crash the boards, maybe look inside for him.
Bosted inbounds, Smith, Rance, Russell, and Johnson working against Tharp, Blick, Jaeger, McGuire, and Carey. A feed for the top. Tharp has it for the Lancers, and the Lancers will win.
don't believe that.
The Lancers find a miracle, and the house is rocking.
Well, look at that. I feel sorry for the inbounder. I think that might have been Bosted, but that was not the area to go with the pass. You got to go inside. I'm sure there's communication breakdown. That was Chris Bosted who threw it, and nobody was there. It was way too long. I didn't like the play. You don't want to go way out top with that little of a time left. You got to get the ball inside within about 10 feet of the basket somewhere.
These two clubs will meet again later on this season on January 31st. It should be a good one up at Kezar Pavilion. Charles Tharp celebrating the gimme basket to close this one out. 61-57, the Lancers prevail. For John Reed, our producer and director Lazarus Sarginides, our technical director Yolanda Harmon, our entire KMVT crew, our statistician Casey McGuire, this is George Devine wishing you a very pleasant good evening from the Raskob Memorial, where the Lancers prevail 61-57.